Hey guys! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I'm so grateful that you guys are listening, subscribing, and commenting on my channel. I really appreciate the support. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about how INFJs accumulate emotions, and not only their own emotions, but other people's emotions and feelings within themselves. Like a bucket, we kind of like accumulate and we pour all of these things into ourselves and we hold it within ourselves, right? We're kind of like a sieve where everything kind of comes through, comes in, all the good stuff comes in or the bad stuff comes in, and then the good stuff we let go again. We kind of put it out into the universe, and so people are always, they like being around us because we're always giving out good vibes. And then we keep the bad stuff and we kind of filter it so that we only send out good stuff, right? So the reason I wanted to speak about this is because what happens after that, right? What happens after we're holding all of this emotion within us? What happens to us? What happens to our environment? What happens to people around us? I wanted to speak to that a little bit more, right? Now, how INFJs release all of this emotion that's stored within them, right? I've said this before, we're empaths. We're always storing emotions and feelings within ourselves, not only our own emotions and feelings, obviously, but mostly I would say 70 to 80% of it is actually emotions and feelings from other people that we've kind of taken on upon ourselves and to filter it out into good, or we've just been sent it because there's so many toxic, negative people around us, or just we've been holding it because there's so much negativity in the world right now. So, we have all this stuff coming at us and we're holding it like a bucket. We have all this stuff, we have this space within us, and we're holding all of this negative emotion within us. Now, as I said, we need to obviously release this emotion back out into the universe or back out in a manner where we don't actually spew it out on someone. That's what most people do, is that when they have negative emotions within themselves, they will kind of let out all of it onto someone else, like basically vomit it all out on someone else so that they feel better, kind of they vomit it all out. I feel good, I feel better, I feel so much better about myself now. And the other person who they spewed it on feels terrible and feels disgusted with themselves or disgusted within themselves. And they need to again spew it out on someone else or something else, and then the cycle continues. We know that cycle. We've been part of that cycle. And so we don't want to do that to someone else. We don't want to spew it out on someone else because that's just a waste of the whole cycle. That's the reason I think we're here, is we're alchemists of all these emotions. We don't want to just continue this vicious cycle forever and ever and ever. We want to break it, and we want to make sure that if we have emotions that we're putting out there, either they're good, happy, positive emotions, or we're putting out emotions in a way that it doesn't affect anyone else. And that's one of the reasons I've told you guys, I've done videos on this before as well, that when we are processing negative emotions, we don't do it around anyone else. That's one of the main reasons, at least in my opinion, is that we don't want to kind of put it out onto someone else. We don't want to burden their shoulders with our negative emotions. We don't want to burden them with our negativity. We don't want to put it on them. We don't want them to feel bad and us to feel good. That's not the way we work. That's not how INFJs like doing things, right? And so we're not going to do that to someone else. So we're going to process our negative emotions in our safe space, in the cave by ourselves, within ourselves mostly, right? We're just processing it within ourselves. We're journaling about it. We're self-reflecting. We're taking our time, staring off into space, thinking about it, analyzing it, and then processing it that way, and then letting out only positive stuff because we've kind of cut down or broken down the negative emotion enough that it doesn't hurt anymore, right? It's not negative anymore, right? So that's what we do. That's one of the ways that we do it. That's one of the minor ways that we do it. But for me, a lot of my negative emotions are processed through crying, right? And again, I cry a lot. I cry a lot. I used to cry so much more in the past. Oh man, I cried almost every single day, right? And my parents would always look at me like, I was like an animal in the zoo. They'd be like, what's going on with you? Why do you cry so much? Why are you so emotional? Why does everything bother you so much? And as time went on, I realized that people don't like people crying around them, especially parents, of course, don't like their kids crying around them, obviously, right? I mean, they don't know what to do with it. They're like, but what should I do here? I don't understand why you're crying. And so they'd always be like, stop crying, stop being so emotional. And so they're always telling me not to cry. And I used to think about it to myself. I used to think to myself, if I cried about something, because it makes me feel sad, after that I feel good. I've released that emotion using my tears. Why is it a bad thing? Why is it bad to feel these emotions? And it actually kind of was one of my main things for a long period of time, until I understood that they were functioning from a different perspective, and emotions are not bad. Our feelings are not bad, and crying is definitely not a bad emotion, even though it was labeled as such by a lot of people around me. And it's all right to cry. And I realized that if I'm going to cry, I have to do it within a safe space, within my own cave, by myself, or around people that I trust, that are not going to negate my emotion, right? Which is very rare. I mean, most people are not going to be like that. So I just cry on my own all the time, which makes me feel better about things, right? And so that's what it is. The bucket overfills. So we kind of poured emotions within ourselves. We put all of this stuff within us. And sometimes there's too much stuff to process. We just have so much going on. And even if we sit by ourselves and we try to process it in that, self-reflecting, journaling, all of that manner, sometimes it's not enough, right? Sometimes it's just not enough. And you just have to let it all out, and you just cry about it. And you just sit in your room or wherever you are, and you just cry. You let it all out, and afterwards you feel better, right? Now that's, again, one of the reasons why I said we need or like to process emotions within a safe space by ourselves, alone, mostly alone, as much as possible. We like to be alone when we're processing negative emotions, because, again, we don't like being told not to cry. And every time I've cried in front of other people, they've always told me, stop crying, stop being so emotional, stop doing that, stop being like that, all that stuff, always telling me to stop. And I'm like, but this is important for me, this is necessary, it's a necessary part of the process of me feeling better again, kind of releasing all that stuff that's within me, that's overfilling me, that bucket that's within me, it's been overfilled, and I need to let go of it. And I'm going to do it in 2 or 3 different ways, which is obviously, as I said, talking about it with someone, which I don't like doing, because I don't like spewing my negative emotions on someone else. I don't like putting it on someone else. I think that's the last resort. I think that's the last resort that I use, is words. Now, words obviously are journaling as well. So I like journaling because my book doesn't feel emotions, and it doesn't feel bad after I put all these negative emotions into it. It's inanimate, right? It's fine. It's fine taking it on. And it's all right with that. It's like a rock. It just takes it and takes it and takes it, and it does not feel bad. And so it's all right for me to use words in that manner. But to use words and putting all that negative emotion on someone else, I don't like that. That's one of the, as I said, the last resort. I use it rarely, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. I don't like that. I don't like it because I don't like putting that on someone else. I really despise myself after that, and I just don't want to go through that, right? So as I said, using words to kind of vent to someone else, which is the primary way most people do it. But I like the secondary ways better for myself, and I think INFJs prefer it as well, is that because a lot of us don't really have people like that in our lives where we can be like, okay, I'm just going to spew some negativity at you, just take it, don't feel bad about it, just release it, and I just need to release something, so don't feel bad, it's not anything to do with you, it's just me, kind of thing, right? And it's very hard to find people like that who will just take it and not feel bad. Almost everyone on this, a lot of people are empaths around us, and so they're going to take it, they're going to feel bad about it, and then we're going to feel bad for making them feel bad. It's horrible, right? I don't want to do that. So as I said, I spend most of my time processing negative emotions in 2 manners, which is obviously crying by myself in a room, in a safe space. And it sounds very sad when you say it like that. It's actually one of the best therapeutic things for me. I love it. I love when I can get a good cry in, and I can just release all that stuff, and it feels like I've cleansed myself from the inside out, right? It's like, it's 3 things that people say are the best things in the world. Salt water, which is like the ocean for cleansing, salt water, tears, obviously again salt water, and sweat, which is again like cleansing for the body. So those are the 3 things, and I think those are all 3 perfect things for us to cleanse our soul. Go for a run, go boxing, go kick something, get all of that negative emotions out, or cry about it, let it all go, or go to the ocean and let the ocean cleanse you. Now, if you don't have an ocean around you, then use your journaling or use your reflection time, or stare off into space and think about it, analyze it, and break down those negative emotions so they're not so painful anymore. They become smaller and invisible almost, and you can just let go of them without affecting or hurting anyone else around you. All right, so those are the 3 things that I would recommend to you guys, obviously, to do in order to cleanse yourself. Now, physical activity is a really good one. A lot of people use that, but sometimes physical activity is just not enough. It does not go deep within your heart and doesn't take it all out. So I recommend crying on those occasions, if you can make yourself cry. If it is painful enough for you to be able to cry, then do it. It's all right. Crying, I think, is one of the best emotions out there. I think our body's built that way. It's built to cry, right? It's built into our system, and there's a reason for it. Evolutionary wise, if you think of it, our bodies need it, and our emotions need it. They need to come out somehow. Otherwise, they're going to stay within our bodies and cause diseases and cancers and all those disgusting things that you don't want, right? Get it out of your system. Don't spew it out on someone else. Don't put it on someone else's shoulders. But get it out so that it's released and you're free of it, right? Again, if you guys have any questions at all about this video or any other topics at all, please message me anytime. And all my contact information is in the description below. I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.